Welcome back, Pause Menu Society, Euphoric Interpretations, Part 7, the penultimate episode, ladies and gentlemen. Um, I had this, by the way. I had Nate die. I had Nate dying
Yes,
100%.
you
I
did.
100% called that. Uh, I don't even want to take glory and be like, I got it. I called this because that's a horrible fucking way to go. That is a
Absolutely.
horrible way to go. Um, this episode is was all over the fucking place. Um,
Yeah.
the religious the religious foreshadowing is all over the place. And it starts with Rue seeing the burning tree, and it gets us to
Mhm.
hear um Nate being buried alive, but also being bitten by a snake.
Snake,
So
yeah.
it's like, okay, well, the devil, came into the Garden of Eden disguised as a snake. But also Alamo is pretty much the devil as well. Uh,
Yeah, I'd say so.
there was a fucking lot. So, where do you wanna start? Where do you want to because this was crazy, and you know what? After seeing the trailer for next week's episode, um, it says season finale, it doesn't say series finale.
Okay.
A lot of people think that well, obviously, Jacob Elordi's gone because they've killed Nate off. Um
Mhm.
A lot of people, number one, feel that Rue was already dead and she's a ghost, and all of this is just like replaying what actually happened. I've heard that. But the show apparently Sam Levinson is going to try to bring this back, and I don't know if Rue is going to survive or if the baton is going to be passed to Cassie because Sydney
I think it's
Sweeney
gonna
has
be Cassie.
obviously grown in popularity since the beginning of the show. She was just like, "Oh, this is pretty little blonde girl," and then obviously things happened and things were said, and
Mhm.
Zendaya's only gotten bigger. Um, I'm trying to remember, is she in the trailer for the new Spider-Man this summer? Because she's obviously
I
been
didn't
yeah,
look that
she
up.
is.
She
She is,
is?
because remember at the end of the last one, in order to save everybody, it was like, "You can save them, but nobody will ever remember that Peter Parker existed. You're just going to be a stranger to everybody."
Damn.
So I think there's like a moment in one of the trailers where he's like basically like we used to know each other, et cetera, et cetera. So Spider-Man is coming, obviously. I think this might be the last Tom Holland one. This might be the last hurrah for him and Zendaya and that, but also they are very, very, a lot of people thought that there was a rumor they were already married, but she's just like, I love working with him because he's my best friend and like, he's also my spouse and this, that, and the third. But it seems like she might be done. Um, if you think about it, there's only one scene where she appears with Sydney Sweeney, and apparently she had a problem with the way Sydney Sweeney handled that whole American Eagle jeans situation. So the
Mhm.
only scene where they're together is that scene at the pool where the girl has the fucking leaf blower
Yes.
on Cassie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't think of there might be another one, but I can't think of it right off the top of my head. So
Not for this
um
season, I don't remember. I don't think
yeah. Like,
yeah.
so again, I think we might have talked about this last week when they showed up for the premiere. She like hugged everybody but Sydney Sweeney. And apparently she made it clear to the producers, at least this is what I've been told, that she did not want to shoot with her this season.
Yeah.
Um, but everything that happened, it just kind of feels like Rue is out of here regardless. They can't afford to go away for 2 to 3 more years and come back with season 4. They just can't. Um, I feel like Zendaya's walking away from the show. Now, whether Rue walks away or Rue goes to prison or Rue gets killed, we'll have to find that out Sunday, but I think Zendaya's walking away either way.
Yeah.
Um, and it looks like just based off everything that's happened this season, Sydney Sweeney has been the focal point.
She has,
She's
yeah.
been the focal
I think
point,
everyone
and it just
agrees.
yeah, it just
Mhm.
feels like they're pushing. they're setting us up for the next season when it is all about Cassie. And after what happened Sunday, we kind of have some ideas where they're going to be. So, I mean, I don't, where do you want to go? Because
I
some shit
mean,
happened.
my notes were actually kind of all over the place this time.
So were mine because they never gave you a second to breathe. It was just like
Over and over, just something.
there was not one
Mhm.
dull point in the show. It was just like, here, here, here. I got you. Here, take this, take that. Like, yo, bro, what the hold the fuck up. Like, what is going on here? Like, they just kept coming and coming and coming. Pause. And well, fuck, the guy, I can't come anymore. Um,
That was hilarious.
crazy. That was
The
crazy.
funniest.
Um, I mean, I guess we should start with Ali.
Man, Ali, getting his backstory and then all the shit he's
Now,
gone through, crazy.
and that so remember when they show in season 1 the first Narcotics Anonymous meeting, like,
Mhm,
and Rue just kind of brushes it off, and then she goes outside, and Ali like steps to her like, "You want to stop bullshitting everybody the fuck around this, that, and the third." And it's like, okay, now we know why he is so hard on Rue. Like, it
mhm.
doesn't excuse what his character went through because the crackhead, like, I was like, "Is that Natasha Lyonne?" I was like, "Oh shit, it's Natasha
Yes! That's
Lyonne."
Natasha Lyonne. I love that
Right.
actress.
Everybody does. She is just,
So great.
like, I think, like, the first time I remember seeing her was in American Pie.
She was in
Um,
American Pie. She was also
yeah.
actually in Dennis the Menace, the 1993, I
She
think it
wa
was.
the
She was the
94, 93.
babysitter.
She was the babysitter, she sure in the
Uh-huh.
fuck was. Okay, shout out to Natasha Lyonne. Absolute legend. So the fact that they were able to bring her in, like, kudos. Great job with casting. Her playing a hooker
Hilarious. I
and
loved it.
and Ali smoking crack, and then so right above, right where I'm looking here, you saw
Yeah.
the art here, opposite this wall, May 25th, 1965, Muhammad Ali versus Sonny Liston. So they reference it when he's doing the whole thing, and she's like,
Yeah.
"What are you gonna do to knock out Sonny Liston?" I was like, "Holy shit." And I was like, "Is his real name Ali, or is this where it comes from because it's Muhammad Ali?" So that
Mhm.
was really cool for me, like, I was like, "Oh, like a moment."
Yeah.
Um, the dreads, he talked about that, like, in, like, the little behind the scenes stuff
Mhm.
after the credits finish. But then we see him at the dinner table with his family, and he's just, like, playing in his daughter's hair, and he's like it's like, "Oh, he's a good dad." Like, he clearly was out
Yeah.
fucking a hooker, but he's a good dad, and then she's like, "Oh, I don't deserve a fucking answer," and she walks off. He's like,
Mhm.
"Fuck you," and walks into the kitchen, and then he goes in there after her, and I was like, "Oh." But I
Yeah.
think I do kinda remember, I don't know if it was in season 1 or if where they had those 2 little episodes, like, in between season 1 and season 2 where it's like it took place over winter break before they came back for season 2 and had the New Year's Eve party. Ali and Rue went to the diner, the very infamous diner, and I kinda remember him mentioning he had a family or something like that, or, like, he had kids.
Yeah, I
So
think he
now
did
they
mention it.
right, so now they filled that out. So now
Mhm.
we know where he comes from. We know that he battled addiction,
Mhm.
and we know that he put himself as well as his family through some shit. It's one thing to smoke crack. It's another thing to smoke crack and fuck hookers and then go home and beat on your wife. That is
R
insane.
right.
That is insane. So it gave a lot of levity to Ali as a character because for the longest we'd just been like, well, what's his fucking story? What is with this dude? Like,
Yeah.
he's on Rue's neck, like, really fucking hard. Like, "Yo, bro, like, I get it, but you gotta allow her give her grace, allow her to find herself and, like, be able to deal with her addiction." It's like, "Oh, this is why he doesn't give her grace,
Yeah.
because his world he fucked up his world, and now he's sitting in this house." Obviously, the wife is gone, but also the kids are gone as well.
Mhm.
So, like, you've pushed your family away, so it's like, "Oh, okay." And I think that kinda also the pancakes. When they were in the diner, they had pancakes. He made her
Yeah.
pancakes in this episode, and I'm almost certain when he showed up to Rue's house, he made pancakes then as well, didn't he?
I thought it was like a roast or something. I thought he had, like,
Maybe.
rosemary and all kinds of, like I think it was a
Maybe he
roast.
did make dinner. I don't know, but Ali seems to be a good cook. I guess we can surmise that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, his backstory was very, very interesting. Again, I feel like he gave the character levity.
Yeah.
Um, the saddest thing about it is when we do the jump and she's like during the pandemic, because they couldn't meet, Ali would call everybody that he sponsored and check
Mhm.
on them. And then we like see like he's telling the guy to fight through, don't give up, and then he's at the guy's funeral. And then we see the book and he's written the name of everybody that he sponsored that died. And
Yeah.
then this again is something everybody pointed out. He writes at the bottom of the page, and the whole next page is clear. And a lot of people feel like Rue's name is going on that next page.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean,
I
look
mean,
at
it
the
makes sense.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does. Like, and again, some people think that Rue is already dead. I don't know. I don't know if they're that deep into symbolism, but I tell you what, episode 7 really took me to some places where I was just like, uh, this is something. Um, Again, it makes me wonder how bad Sam Levinson really was when he was, going battling addiction because again, a lot of people say that Rue is his muse because this is what he essentially went through battling addiction and like it, cost him a lot. Um and that's why a lot of people feel like the show needs to end next week because unless Rue has some dramatic like turn of events where, you know, I just don't see where you take it from here. Nate
Yeah.
is gone. No, well, Sydney Sweeney is Sydney Sweeney. I just don't feel like the show it's going to be a completely different show. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, everybody in the comments when somebody makes a post is like, "No, this needs to be it. I don't wanna watch Sydney Sweeney do whatever the fuck she's going to do. It's not gonna be the same show. It's gonna be completely different. We don't want this show," is what a lot of people are saying. But it
Mhm.
feels like they're leading us there either way, whether we want
Yeah.
it or not.
Yeah.
Like,
And I get it, like, it won't be the same show if it's all
no,
about Cassie and
100%.
Maddie at this point, you know? Um, that it's
Um,
just not. I don't know how they're gonna try to make it the same. I don't think they can.
they
If
can't.
anything
They can't. It's
if
completely different.
if anything, they should just end this and then start a new series with Cassie and Maddie,
Yes,
you know?
Sunday should be the series finale, and then do a spinoff.
Yeah.
Like, whatever happens after this. So, I feel really bad for Nate. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Yeah.
Nate was a piece of shit, but nobody deserves to go like that. Being buried
Yeah.
alive is one thing, but the snake is totally fucking crazy.
I mean, they didn't even
So,
think to put, like, a grate or something over that whole like, come on now.
well, you gotta think, they're fucking crazy, like so they fill in on the recap, like, what happened, so it's like but then they also say, like, "So, yeah, Cassie received the finger, then she received a call from an unknown number, and they're
Mhm.
telling her, 'You get us this money or else.'" And then,
Mhm.
unfortunately, Cassie has deleted her fucking
That
OnlyFans, so there's no
same
revenue to come
moment.
in. Exactly, exactly, and then so now we're also at the point where she knows that Nate has been kidnapped. They
Mhm.
want the fucking money. She knows who it is because the guy showed up at her fucking wedding and then showed up at their house afterwards, which I have something about that here in a second.
Okay.
Showed up at their house afterwards. You know where the fuck we don't know where he is, but you know who has him. You know
Yeah.
who has him. And then in the same vein, you let this lady convince you, yeah, you can't be a sex worker and be on this show. So you got to get rid of that. And
And then they get rid
I
of her
don't think
anyways.
well, let me get to that just one second. People don't understand let's say Friends, for instance, right? Friends was on the
Mhm.
air for like 10 seasons exactly, if I'm not mistaken. So I think the cast each got $1 million per episode that last season, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But again, look how long Friends had been on the air for them to have the leverage to negotiate that season. Because at that point, I watched like I love just putting on YouTube and finding like people like YouTube users made documentaries. There was one about must see TV on NBC where originally it was just Thursday night, then they had Tuesday and Wednesday and all that shit. But Thursday night was the original one. So you had Seinfeld, Friends, ER, like Suddenly Susan, whatever the fuck, Mad About You. They would just move all these shows in and out. But the longest tenured ones were Seinfeld and Friends. They would have given them, so the Friends cast got $1 million in the last season. Seinfeld ended after 9 seasons. Do you remember Celebrity Deathmatch?
Yeah, I remember that.
So they did one, so it was Jerry Seinfeld versus Tim Allen, right? It was the night of the Seinfeld premiere. So all the rest of the Seinfeld cast is there with Jerry, and then as he's about to beat Tim Allen, they turn on him like, in the whole wrestling thing. And they're like, they were gonna give us essentially they were going to give them $1 million each to do that last season, to do one more season, and Jerry Seinfeld's like, "The show has ran its course."
Yeah.
So, Cassie needs to understand, you were starting as a bit player. You were not going to be rich right off the bat. Cassie had a better chance of getting her money up on OnlyFans and then getting somebody else to give her an acting role who was comfortable with her keeping her OnlyFans.
Right.
If they tell you this is it and now you're gonna be a bit player on a drama or comedy or whatever the fuck it is, network television, you're only gonna get so much. And let's not forget the day and age we're in. We had the SAG-AFTRA, the strikes and all that stuff because they found out that they were gonna use AI to use their likeness and stuff like that, where they wouldn't actually need the
Yeah.
actors. They wouldn't need them to do voiceover work. It was gonna happen in the video game industry as well, and that's everybody's like, "Why are these actors striking? We're not getting any of our TV shows, this, that, and the third." This is what they're striking for. They were
Mhm.
all going to be fucked over. "We have your likeness. We can recreate it with AI. We don't need you to come in."
Yeah,
What is your value at that point? So
exactly.
Cassie would have been trying to start a career as an actress right at that point. You were not going to get paid. She stood a better shot of staying with that OnlyFans account. Well,
Mhm.
then you go and fucking delete it.
Right.
They've got Nate, and then you don't get the fucking job anyway. And now you look like a fucking bozo, right or wrong.
Right. Absolutely right.
Yeah, now the guy's telling you he's gonna like so Sam Levinson, he may say he's never said this. I don't know. This whole fucking episode was Quentin Tarantino inspired. Well, think about it. So Nate's buried alive. Kill Bill Volume 2, where she has to punch through the fucking coffin where they bury her alive, right?
Yeah,
Right there.
yeah.
Um, the snake in Kill Bill Volume 2 is in the fucking briefcase when Michael Madsen opens it, the snake bites him.
Mhm.
Um, and then the jump in the episode, because when Rue and Lexi get into it, which I want your thoughts on how Lexi reacted because a lot of people feel like Lexi was wrong.
Agreed. I think
Okay.
Lexi was out of pocket,
I think she was too. The
especially when
mom
she was like,
comment,
"Yes, yes, this is why your mom doesn't talk to you.
she
Excuse
was like,
you."
"You're definitely so you're working with Nazis and the DEA, you're using." Now, the one thing I will I'm gonna shoot Lexi some bail on this. If you're working with the DEA, you're not supposed to tell anybody. So if I
Yeah.
was Lexi and Rue told me that, I would think she was high again too, I'm not gonna lie. You're not supposed to fucking tell anybody you're working with the feds or the DEA or anything like that. Rue should have known that. The Nazi thing was crazy, but you say all of this and she's like, "And you just told me that a tree was on fire and you felt like God was talking to you?" Yo, I'm gonna run down to Walgreens and get a homemade drug test and you're gonna pee on it because I think you're high. I'm gonna run right to CVS to Dwayne Reed. You're gonna pee on this, and I'm gonna find out if you're high because you told me that God showed you Himself. You told me you're working with the DEA, and you're working with Nazis, and you saw God reveal Himself to you. As a matter of
Okay,
fact,
but
I'm not gonna leave. I'm going to grab my phone and DoorDash. You're gonna hear
DoorDash it?
and there's what's that? I wanted some Popeyes, and then bam, look at that homemade drug test. Go and piss on this because you're high. You're high. You're high. You're high.
Okay,
Now, of course,
but knowing Rue, she's always getting into some crazy shit.
this
Always.
is true, and your point to that is Maddie bringing it up later when Lexi. She's like, Rue's always been crazy. It's
Yeah.
like nobody believes that this is really going on because, again, well, it's just Rue. That's just what she does. Like, even the
Yeah.
bathroom scene. Are you high? Are you on drugs again? Yeah. You relapsed? Well, I just smoking a lot of weed. Um, but the mom comment was a bit too much.
That
That
was
was
way out
low.
of pocket.
I felt like that was out of pocket. So the jumps, like Rue gets up, goes upstairs because she sees somebody in the blinds.
Mhm.
Cassie's got
Right.
the vertical blinds.
Yeah.
So then she goes upstairs. She's knocking. Nobody answers, and then we see
The
a
gun.
silencer
Mhm.
barrel on the thing, and I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" And then we circle all the way back to before that moment to find out who is in the apartment with the gun and why they're in there. And it's like, did he just sit around and watch Kill Bill and Pulp Fiction and a bunch of like because it's very it's the snake,
I
just
see it
like the
now.
snake in the briefcase,
Mhm.
buried alive, and then the jump back. That whole fucking episode was Tarantino quoted. The
Yeah.
whole fucking thing. And the more I think about it, the whole season, like with the title cards and like the 70s inspired title cards, it's like this is screaming Tarantino. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, and he very much felt like Quentin Tarantino was like, I just watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I want you guys to know how much I love this, and Reservoir Dogs, and Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2, and this, that, and the third, because it was all very, very Tarantino quoted. Now, some of the responses on social media have been absolutely epic. So Nate's in the box, and everybody's like, oh, you could tell this motherfucker's never seen Kill Bill Volume 2. Also, another thing I had, when we saw when we saw Nate at his business for the first time, I'm like, this motherfucker makes coffins. This is not somebody you borrow
Yeah.
money from. I knew those coffins
Right.
were gonna come back around. When that
You
motherfucker
knew it.
started
You
measuring, he's like,
called
"How
it.
tall are you?" He's like, 6'5". He's like, and he starts measuring. I was like, "Yo, they're putting him in a fucking box. He's going in a
Yeah.
box, dog."
And the fact that he's just like 6'5", that's a custom job. Like,
Job. And he's like,
damn.
I told you I'm 6'5". I wouldn't lie to you." And he's like, "I'll get you your money." I'm like, "Bro, it might be too late.
It's too
It might
late.
be too late." So Nate and Cassie, it's a question a lot of people have had. You and I have had the conversation. I've had the conversation with other people. Why didn't they sell the house?
Yeah.
So I've done some research, and then I actually had to go back and dig in my mental hard drive.
Okay, okay,
So,
let's hear it.
um, so my parents built the house. Let me give you a little background. The first house they built, 3 stories. They told the builders not to take care of the deck because my dad wanted to take care of that on his own. They told him leave the basement standard because my dad had the idea of how he wanted the basement set up. So they did the build, and then my parents put equity in the house themselves and finished. My dad finished the basement with a little help from his friends. He had a friend put the deck on. He did all of this. So we put X amount. Well, they put, I didn't put anything, but they put X amount of equity back into the house.
Mhm.
At this point, we're in that period where it's like we're right on the outside of this. Well, we're kind of still in this reception. Remember, like in the mid aughts, we're like right before the Obama administration, but during the Bush administration, everybody got themselves upside down on those home loans. Now, my parents were
Mhm.
fine, but at this time, they're getting older. My mother had to retire because her shoulder was fucked up. My dad was the only one working, and I was gone. My nephew moved in for a while, and he didn't last long. He was there shortly after I moved out. My brother was off, repaying, kind of in and out, kind of repaying his debt to society. And then they looked up and they have this humongous house and it's just them two and they don't need it.
Yeah.
So what they did was they put it on the market and then somebody wanted to buy, like somebody saw it. They didn't want to go through escrow. They didn't want to go through a whole closing. So what happened was they did a short sale. My parents lost like $60,000 on that sale, right? So everybody's like, well, why don't they sell the house? And I was like, well, even if in this particular situation, they'd have to do a short sale, which means you're going to lose some of the value on your home. Like,
Mhm.
because again, they finished the basement themselves and they added the deck. They put like $150,000 worth of equity back into the home. It did not matter. They still lost money on the deal. So I was like, well, they would do a short sale. They're going to get some. They'll get enough to probably keep Naz off his neck for a little time, to get Cassie some time to put her titties out there again and make more money.
Mhm.
The YouTube comments on multiple posts, always the first thing, why the fuck did they not sell the house? And then multiple people were like, they don't own the home. They are leasing. Their vehicles are leased. That's why they're up to their ears in debt, because they want to look like this wealthy, well-to-do couple when they don't have the money. And then to further prove that, you want a $50,000 floral arrangement for the wedding, and you're willing to put yourself on OnlyFans to do so.
Yeah.
And then you've invested your money into this project and your neighbors and friends' money, and y'all can't start digging to build this retirement community because they found this fucking flower.
Mhm.
So your house is leased, your vehicles are leased, this, that, and the third, which also would make sense why that carpet and shit is still there, because if you don't own it, you're not making wholesale changes in that house.
Right.
So then I thought to the wrist. Nate is wearing a solid gold Rolex Date Just. I have the same exact one. People were like, would you sell your Rolex? No, because it was a gift from my parents and they would flip the fuck out.
Right.
I'm like, he could have sold the watch, but I get why he would want to. And then at that time, I thought, wait a minute. This is all a facade. That Rolex might not even fucking be real.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
That could be
so
it could be a fake.
yeah. So now we're at this point where it's like, oh, I get it. They can't they're up to their ears in debt because they wanted to live this lifestyle, much like a lot of people are doing via social media and this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
And now you're dead. Now they got to get you out of that box and get you in a proper coffin for your funeral, which I don't know what kind of I d can you have it, like, is it closed coffin at the funeral? Because they can
Probably.
only do so much.
I mean,
They can only do so
his
much
face is pretty messed up. I
from
mean,
the venom from the fucking snake. So,
yeah.
um,
Honestly, they'll
rip to
probably
Nate, man.
cremate him, just 'cause, money, it's much
It's
cheaper to
cheaper. It's
cremate
very much
someone.
cheaper.
Yeah.
That is 100% true. That is 100% true. Um, so the studio loved Lexi's story, but again, they don't want a real sex worker. So it's like, I like your story, but your sister's got to go. Let's hire an actress.
Mhm.
Um, I
I don't
at
know.
some point, at some point, this was going to be a thing. Like,
Mhm.
that has to be the higher ups in the studio have to sign off on shit like that. Because once they find out, wait, you've got an OnlyFans or a cam girl or whatever the fuck in this role, and I'm not against it. I'm not
Mhm.
against it because they've had porn stars do TV shows and shit like that. They didn't have major roles. They made cameos and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think
Porn
that's what
stars
the
have shown up
issue
in
was that
films.
they were trying to make her more of a permanent character in that series,
Yeah.
and I think that's what the
Yeah, I
issue
get that.
was, is she's not an actress. So how are you gonna have this, OnlyFans star come in and try to be an actress when she's not?
well, let's say she wasn't doing OnlyFans, but she was an influencer. Well, this goes back to what Robert Downey Jr. said.
Mhm.
Y'all keep telling yourselves that these influencers are the new Hollywood stars of tomorrow, and no, the fuck they're not. There is something to be said about true thespians, people who are trained on, on the stage and who've done Broadway or off Broadway, or
Mhm.
actually take acting classes and stuff like that. There's something to be said about somebody who takes the craft very, very seriously versus it's just me, Cassie. It's like this doesn't work. I'm sorry,
Right.
it doesn't. So Maddie busts the fuck in,
Mhm.
goes the fuck off,
I mean,
uh,
yeah, 'cause she just lost her job too, so she's like, "We're gonna make
behind
this
that, yeah,
money. I'm your
yeah.
boss,
I'm
bitch."
I'm
I
not
was
your
like,
manager, I'm not your
"Get
fucking
it.
manager,
Fucking
I'm your
get it."
fucking boss, bitch, and, like, Cassie's like, "Well, you look like you're gonna hit me." She's like, "I fucking should."
Yeah.
And to
Yeah.
here's my thing, Maddie has to absorb some of that blame, because if I recall, it was Maddie who dangled that casting over Cassie's fucking head because Cassie told her she had signed with the fucking content house,
Yeah, but she
which
didn't
I
tell
guess
her to delete her OnlyFans. Cassie did that on her own. She didn't even talk to
no,
Maddie about
but
it.
you have to remember she was like because the guy told her she's not a real manager. She hasn't done shit for you. And Cassie was about to leave Maddie hanging high and dry. And that's
Mhm.
why Maddie had to pull the move she had to pull. To
Mhm.
Cassie, who always wanted to be the it girl, somebody told you, I'm going to make you a star. I'm going to get you cast in a TV show. Say no more.
Mhm.
Say no fucking more. Now, Maddie had to understand that there could be repercussions. And like the lady's like, you had a fucking porn star, whatever the fuck she said, you sent a porn star to casting. No, I don't know what you're talking about. Bullshit, get your shit and go. I will give Maddie this. She kept it G when she walked out. Thank you for
Oh,
the
yeah.
opportunity.
Mhm.
Thank you for the opportunity. But so at that point, did she go and check Cassie's OnlyFans and see it was deleted? Because that's never really explained.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, she did. I mean, I
She
would
had
assume that
okay.
she goes in there and checks, her stats and everything anyways. So she
I
probably
would
went in there and
assume
was just like, "Alright, I just got dropped from my job. I
right,
gotta go check on
right.
her OnlyFans,
And
and we
see
need to
how
make
much
this
she's
money."
making. And then the page is
Mhm.
gone and it's like, all right, I'm gonna kill this bitch.
Yeah.
Okay. Maddie having to clean up Cassie's apartment. She's like, "Get your shit together. You're going out with this Dylan guy." So the date with the guy from the TV show, what he was wearing.
Mhm.
Did you notice his hat? Do you know what it said on the
I
hat?
noticed he was No, what did it say?
Uh, Violence in movies and sex on TV. And I didn't catch it. I was listening to Prestige TV podcast. Remember, I sent you the clip of them last week. So
Mhm.
Joanna Robinson pointed this out. Seems today that all you see is violence in movies and sex on TV. It's from the Family Guy theme song.
Oh,
That's what his fucking hat said, which I
okay,
thought was
okay.
cool. That was very cool. Um, so
The date went
Cassie
well.
riding this clearly Cassie riding this motherfucker like a cowboy. I have in my notes, this is over the top even for Euphoria.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, okay. I'm like, I get it. I get it. But
But
come
I
on,
mean,
dog.
like, she was doing it on purpose, she's
She
trying to wear
was.
him out on
She
purpose.
was. And shout out to her. Like, she watched him put the code in, which him doing that in front of her was crazy.
Crazy. Who does
Otherwise,
that?
why would you lock your phone? Why would
Yeah,
you have a code on your phone if you're gonna let everybody see you? And not even everybody. You just met this girl. You don't know what she can get into your phone and do. You don't know.
yeah,
So that was
clearly.
crazy. Um,
The
him saying,
wait, say it.
I can't come anymore." I was like, "What the
Yeah.
fuck?"
He's like, "Please stop." He's like, "I
Um,
can't, please stop." No, but when he had the cup of water, I gagged. I
I'm like,
gagged.
is that Nate's fucking because now when Maddie was cleaning up the apartment and she threw the box in the fucking kiddie pool, I thought the finger was still in there. shout out to Cassie for putting it in ice. However, Cassie, what you need to do, well, at that point, it's too late. You
Yeah.
have to get it to the, so what you're supposed to do is put it in a bag of ice and take it with you to the hospital, just like they did with the toe. And if you
Mhm.
get there in enough time, then it can be salvaged. However, I think it's beyond that point. I don't think they
It's
could
so
salvage that.
beyond.
Yeah, I think he lost. The fingers are gone. He's a goner, but it doesn't matter. Um, but you just threw it in the fucking ice bin? What the fuck?
Just plop right in there.
And look,
First
I
okay,
love my
so when I first saw it, I thought it was like a miniature, like, little dildo is what I thought. I thought it was like a little
really, I didn't think about
I
that.
really did think it was that until I, like, looked harder and I was like, "Oh, no, that's a finger. That's not."
Yeah,
'Cause, she had, like, dildos all over the fucking place.
she did.
Everywhere.
So what you're saying is not that far-fetched. You're because
Yeah.
I've seen, like, girls will post when they go to a bachelorette party and it's like they had dick straws and shit like
Mhm.
that. So that actually does make sense.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I enjoy myself an ice cold glass of water very
Mhm.
much. And I will shake my cup and all that stuff. If it's a glass where I can see straight through, I'm looking at it.
I'm looking at
There's
it.
no way I would not know that there's a fucking finger in there. That is
Absolutely.
crazy. So he really must have been just like knocked, like Cassie, kudos to Cassie. She literally fucked this man like damn near into a fucking coma. Um,
He got the
very
ice first, and then he put the water in.
water. So
So
that's what
how
I'm
are you
saying.
not
You didn't
staring
look.
at it while you're
That's
putting
what I'm saying. That part, like, I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I'm just saying, like,
he must have just been
I
really,
just don't.
really tired.
He had to have been. He had to have been.
Yeah.
Um, so she posts the picture, best look
Mhm.
I ever had, tagged herself because, like, she's already called the people at OnlyFans, like, "Oh, my jealous boyfriend deleted my page." It's like,
Mhm.
no, you can't get it back. And the thing of it is it told her, like, I don't know if they have a temporarily, like, deactivate or, like, because it said this is a full deletion, if I remember correctly, when
Mhm.
she deleted it.
Yeah.
Because then she opens the box and Nate's finger is in there, and it's like, "Oh, shit, maybe I ought not have done that."
Yeah.
Um,
They
which
shoulda
also,
they should have a temporary for, you know,
well, I
for
mean,
those
they
cases
should,
when you get a box of your husband's fingers, you know?
because that happens all the time. Um, but at the same time, what was Cassie doing in the interim? Now, Nate incurred the debt himself. I
Right.
get that. So it's not
Mhm.
on Cassie to bail him out.
Right.
But what was she doing that, because she sent him the one amount of money and instead of him, now it makes sense because people were saying this in the comments. They were like, they don't own the house. And people were like, how do you figure that? And they were like, remember, Cassie had to send him money so he would not get evicted from the house. And I was like, that's right. The first time she sent him money, it was so he wouldn't get evicted. Well, then she sent him more money. And instead of calling Naz, like, yo, I got a little bit, I'm going to send, I'm gonna wire this to you, whatever, what the fuck. You're in the house fucking dancing and shit. And the motherfucker comes in and starts fucking you up again.
Mhm.
Nate was in there living like he had not a care in the world, but a motherfucker clipped your toe off on your wedding night. So my question to you, Mr. Nate Jacobs, is why do you act like them people? Why do you act like them people didn't want their money? Because they clearly wanted their money. They took your toe, you had it stitched back on, and they came back and took your finger. You
Yeah.
lost your wife in the process as well. Why are you playing with those people's money? And now you are dead in the motherfucker. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Um, we spent so much time on them. Do you want to talk about Alamo and all that? Like, Alamo's the devil, right?
You think well, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it just
I
like,
mean, listen, I thought it was really great script writing when, Maddie was like, "Oh, you got Cassie back for free," and he's like, "This wasn't for free. You think I
I
did
want
this
to
for
get to
free?"
that. I want to get to that because
Mhm.
I want to get to that. But real quick, what the fuck did Big Eddie do except try to hold you down and took a bullet to the fucking stomach?
Mhm.
And now he's got a colostomy bag, and you're like, well, you got to fix this fuck up. Fuck up? Excuse you, sir?
Right?
I took a bullet to the stomach for you, and I'm shitting out of a bag.
The audacity. And then he's like, "Cover that shit up. Nobody wants to look at that." Excuse me, sir, what?
Okay, so that part where they show the staples, that
Mhm.
it took I had to pause the show. It took me a minute because obviously I had my situation back when I was 15 and they had to staple me and then some of them got infected and they had to open up the bottom of
Mm,
the incision and they sent me home after 2 weeks in the hospital with part of my stomach opened up. It was really fucked up. So that really yeah, it really that part of the show really got to me. It took me a moment. I was like, "All right, I'm good. This is a long it'll be 30 years next year that this happened." But it still fucked me. I was like, because
yeah,
like, when he's like I'm like, "That pain, you don't know what that feels like unless you've experienced." But, "Well, I want you to take a ride down to Mexico to fix this fuck up." I got shot in the fucking stomach. What are you talking about? I
right.
got shot trying to hold you down, trying to keep your like, "Oh, because I opened the safe? That's the fuck up?" Big Eddie's better than me. Some people believe that Big Eddie is an undercover cop.
Really. I don't believe it.
Yeah,
I don't believe it at all.
I don't know. I don't know. Some people believe Big Ed, and then also where he shows up to Lori's in the van, and he's like, "How about next time we all have guns?" Because they had guns on him, and he didn't have anything. Some people
Mhm.
believe he's a cop. Um, Alamo at that point, I was just like, Alamo might be the motherfucking devil. He might
Yeah.
that like this is deeper than his mom fucking that dude over, and then he was like, "I don't trust women." It's deeper than that.
Yeah.
Like it's a whole devil came down to Georgia type of vibe I'm getting from him, and, like, something always felt off, and then, like, when we saw his backstory last week, it's like, "Okay, this makes sense," and then the more we dig into this, "Wait a minute, dog, like, something's not right with you." It's one thing to own a strip club. You're doing a lot of shit behind just, like, using the strip club
Mhm.
as a front, but you're doing a whole fucking lot, and I'm wondering, like, who the fuck are you? Um,
Yeah,
so
because Rue even found all those driver's licenses too. And she's like, "Who are all these girls?" And Lori keeps telling her he does sex trafficking.
you hit it right on the head. So
Mhm.
in the Prestige podcast, one of the writers, one of the fans of the show wrote in like, what if Angel's dead? And they're like, what? And it's like, what if when Rue dropped her off to that facility, they're taking out her organs or they're selling her off to somebody? What if she's being sex trafficked or whatever? What the fuck? And then Lori makes that comment, and then Rue finds like, wait, why the fuck does he have all those IDs? And when I saw that, it was like, that's Angel's ID.
Mhm.
Oh, oh. This
Mhm.
motherfucker is really fucked up. So even that whole situation, the Nazi,
Yes.
him telling Faye when she's like, "Well, why Rue didn't do any like," he's like, "There's black and white, and that's what it is." And she's like, "Well,
Isn't she in
isn't
the
Rue trying
middle?
to in the middle?" And in my head, I
Shout
was
out to
like,
Faye for that.
I'm like, she's not wrong. She's
She's
not
not wrong.
wrong. But then he tells the story about the Nazi soldiers having to raise
Mhm.
puppies. And then once they get to the end of training, they apparently unalive the puppies.
Yeah.
So Joanna Robinson, shout out to her again, Prestige TV podcast. They're doing an excellent job covering this. Like, I think you should like go back and like listen to all their episodes, like for the rest of the
Yeah.
week, just to catch up and see their perspective on it. So she looked it up and she says that is 100% true. They
Yeah.
really did this.
They really did.
That was
Yeah.
fucking crazy. That was fucking crazy. And it's like, and then people don't understand. It's like there's a million fucking reasons to hate Nazis. There's a
Mhm.
million fucking reasons. The
Absolutely.
fact that they also killed these dogs, just add another to the fucking list. Add
Yeah.
another to the fucking list. This is inhumane. This is fucking terrible. Faye, I got some issues with Faye. Also, the Nazi screaming Allahu Akbar.
Oh, yeah.
What the fucking fuck? Like, being a racist and I you're a Nazi and you're screaming Allahu Akbar, which like you can say if you want to say God is the greatest, for sure, say that. But just say God is the greatest. You literally hate people of color. You hate Jewish people. That's your stick. That's like in the
Yeah.
Nazi handbook. And yet here you are screaming Allahu Akbar. Like what?
It's ironic. They do it, to be hateful. It's what it
That
is.
that 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 actually makes sense. That totally
Yeah.
tracks. Lori telling Rue about the sex trafficking.
Mhm. I mean,
Um,
and she's told
that was
her
crazy.
several times before. She's like, "I don't know why
She
you're not
told,
listening. I don't know why you're
but
so
remember,
surprised."
so remember when Rue took the suitcase full of the drugs, and
Mhm.
then she got fucked up and went to Lori's house. And Lori did she give her, like, a shot of something? And then she told her, "If you don't get my money, I will get a hold of you, and I will give you to some people that do really bad things, or they will try." She basically told her, "I will have you sex trafficked." This is all
Mhm.
just coming right back to what she told her when they had that first fucking that second conversation.
Yep.
Rue should have
Absolutely.
never took that fucking suitcase.
Yeah.
That suitcase is literally the crux of this whole season. If Rue doesn't take that suitcase in season 2, it's a totally different show right now.
Yeah.
Now, Nate and Cassie might still be where they are, which means that Nate is still dead, but there's no Lori, therefore there's no Alamo, none of that happens.
Mhm.
I I just how the fuck did like she told her, "I will sell you to." I wanna find the exact quote. I really because let's see.
'Cause she definitely said something like, "I will give you to some terrible people who will do terrible things to you." Something like that.
Season 2, episode 5, Lori takes advantage of Rue's severe opioid withdrawal by giving her an intravenous morphine injection while she lies in a bathtub. Uh, During this encounter, Lori highlights Rue's debt and makes coercive statements regarding Rue's future, which analysts interpret as a depiction of the grooming process used in human trafficking. Rue eventually wakes up in a dangerous environment and manages to flee the premises for an house. Yep. She flat out told her, "I will have you trafficked if I don't get my money."
Mhm.
So all that shit did was bring us back to square one. We're here because she took that fucking suitcase. Rue should have never taken that suitcase full of drugs. She
Yeah.
should have never taken that suitcase full of drugs. Because now think about it like this. She took that suitcase. She meets Faye on New Year's Eve with Fesco and Ashtray at the house. That's how she met Lori for the first time. Rue was so fucking high. Like, Jules is also kind of the crux of this because Jules took off on Halloween, or was that Halloween? Wherever they had that winter dance, was that Halloween or something like that?
If it was a winter dance, it would have been after Halloween.
Okay, so it's like Christmas or something like that,
Yeah.
right? Rue was gonna go and she's like, I can't just leave. And Jules still leaves, right? So then
Mhm.
Rue basically relapses and starts getting high again. She
Yeah.
ends up with Fez and Ash that night. She meets Faye. The shit happens. She meets Lori. She goes back. She goes back and gets the drugs from Lori. Faye has nowhere to go because her and her boyfriend are broke up. So she goes to Fez and Ash's house. The
Mhm.
ex-boyfriend comes there like, yo, I'm setting these motherfuckers up. Just let you know. And she's like, no, I don't want nothing to do with it. Ashtray peeps this shit and was like, yo, what the fuck is up with you? Yo, Fez, I don't trust this bitch. Something ain't right.
Yeah.
This is long-term storytelling. Ashtray stabs the kid. Fez is like, "I'm gonna take the rap for it." Ashtray's like, "No." Goes and locks himself in the bathroom. The fucking police show up. Fez ends up in jail. Lexi's still a fucking virgin in her early 20s. And Rue was shitting out fentanyl. This is all like Faye and that fucking briefcase. That's how we got here now.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, like I kind of felt 3D printing, Like, everybody's so hype on it. I'm just like, I know that they made what they believe to be an exact replica of the key, but will that key actually work? We find out the motherfucking key didn't work.
Right, I kind of thought that too. I was just like, I don't know if a 3D print of it is
I
really
don't
going to work if they
so
don't have the actual key itself, because it could work
I
if they
thought that
got
they
the
had so
exact
they
notches
had a
right.
picture of it.
They
Okay.
only had a picture,
Let's
that's all they
see.
had.
Picture of a key work for 3D printing. Look at that.
Other people looked it
Oh,
up too, huh?
so apparently, yes, a picture of a key can work for 3D printing. However, the process requires CAD modeling, correct scaling, often using a known object for reference, which is why she asked about told her to get the quarter, and a strong print settings to prevent the plastic from snapping off in the lock. Key steps to follow: scale the image since photos can distort dimensions. Import the picture into CAD software such as Fusion 360 or Tinkercad as a canvas and use a known reference dimension like the total length of the key blank to scale it accurately. Trace the profile. Carefully sketch the biting, the ridges and cuts of the teeth of the key. And this is where I thought it would be tricky. Slicing settings in your slicer, orient the key so the layers are parallel to the key length to prevent the teeth from snapping, and set high resolution layers with high wall thickness. Limitations and risks. Durability. Plastic keys, even those made from tough filaments like nylon or PETG, are weak and can break inside the lock cylinder, creating major headache. They are generally useful only for temporary emergencies. Posting pictures of your house keys publicly presents a physical security risk as malicious parties could replicate them using the same methods. Okay, so that's very interesting. I still, in my head, I was just like, is this really going to work? Like, is it because when we saw them 3D printing the guns, I was like, yeah, you could make a fake gun for, like, a TV show or a movie, but, like, how do you, like, actually execute a chamber and getting the bullet in there and the firing pin and all that stuff? That's the stuff I'm just like, "This doesn't make sense," unless they were intentionally selling them. No, because they shot the
They
guns,
work.
didn't they?
Yeah, they work. You can make
So
them work.
that's what I don't understand.
You just needed
So I'm a
all
little
the different components, and then you put it together, and voila, you have
hmm, okay.
pew
Not
pew.
that I'm in the not that I'm in the, business of trying to make 3D printed guns or nothing, but, um, fucking Faye. Rue was not wrong. Faye convinced herself, she's like, "You told me there was money." She's like, "No, you told me
You
there was
said it.
money in there. Thank
Mhm.
you. You convinced yourself there was money in there. I never fucking told you that there was money in there." So, Faye, she wakes Rue up to tell her, "Hey, they're gonna kill you. They want me to kill you." It's like, "Let's just get the money and go." Wayne was asleep. That doesn't mean that everybody was fucking asleep. There
Right.
was no that plan, and now I'm looking, so the trailer for episode 8 is out. Rue's got more scars and her face is bleeding, so I know that she actually intentionally harmed herself when she asked Marshawn to punch her. He was like, "Fuck no," and she did it herself, but now she's got another open cut and she's bleeding. So we do know that she ends up back with Alamo, and we see a shot of her in her home back in Oakland, the house that she grew up in. They get out somehow. Even if they were able to get past Wayne, the other motherfucker's still up there. I don't know if
Yep.
Lori can handle a gun, but we know the other motherfucker can.
Mhm.
I don't see how the fuck she gets out of there. I just don't.
Unless
And
Alamo comes out, I don't know.
I just
I don't know.
I don't and this is why people are like, "See, she's gotta be dead because there's no way she'd make it out that fucking house." We've seen them firing off automatic weapons.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I don't care how people feel. I hope Faye dies in the next episode. I want Faye gone.
Damn.
Well, like, you told me there was money. No, you told me there was money. I never told you there was money in there. Let's
Yeah.
just get the money and go. There's no money, Faye. Well, what the fuck is this? A bunch of IDs. So this goes back to what Alamo said. It wasn't about the money they took out the safe per se. It
Mm.
was something else that they took, and that was the IDs.
Do you think it was
Now,
the
it's
IDs, or do you think there's something else in there too? Because there was other shit in there.
there were other things, but I think the IDs play a major part because these girls all like think
Are
about it this way,
missing. Yeah.
all these girls are missing. Nobody knows about their whereabouts, right? The
Mhm.
police show up and they find all these IDs and they start running social security numbers and checks on all these people,
Yeah.
and you find out all these people are missing. Where are these girls? Because
Yeah.
there was a stack like this thick, right?
It was a lot. There was so
Yeah, so
many. Yeah.
so you have all these IDs and all these women are missing.
Mhm.
You're like you're all that's not a coincidence. You go in front of a judge and a jury, you will never see the light of day again.
Yeah.
You will never see now, California does not legally execute. You'd be on death row for the rest of your life, as far as I know. But you're never gonna see like, you're 20 doing that, because then they're gonna start digging holes and stuff like that. You're out in the desert, they're gonna start digging holes, they're gonna start finding skulls, and then they're gonna start running dental records like, "Oh, so you killed this girl, which means you probably killed it." All they have to do is find one skull with the teeth, but they wouldn't. That's what Bishop was doing with the
Oh.
hogs.
So here's the
Yeah,
thing, what I was told from somebody who had a friend who has a hog farm, they specifically said that the hogs won't eat the teeth. You have to grind those yourself if you were
really.
to ever to hide a
So
body.
so so they'll eat everything but the teeth. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
apparently. I don't know why they wouldn't eat the teeth considering it's also bone. Maybe it's too hard, I don't
uh,
know. But that's what I
it
was
can't be
told.
harder than the fucking femur, can it?
I see, I don't know. I have no
I'm
idea.
gonna I'm definitely gonna clear my cookies after this because the Google's gonna be like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
You're gonna be
Why
getting
won't
some knocks on your door.
the top search, why won't hogs eat teeth?
There we
Pigs
go.
will consume flesh and even smaller bones, but they do not digest teeth. This is primarily because tooth enamel is made of hydroxyphyte, the hardest substance in the mamma- mammalian body,
Hmm.
mammalian body. I'm sorry, because it lacks collagen or softer structural protein. Pigs' digestive acids cannot break the teeth down.
So it is because
Well,
it's
there we
too
go.
hard, yeah. So you gotta
Okay.
grind the teeth down into dust,
Okay. Well, even still, if you can't like, so they're not going to leave those laying around, right?
right?
But at the end of the day, again, this girl's been missing for X amount of years. This
And they're
girl's
gonna
been
go
missing
through
for X amount of years.
all of his businesses too,
Yes.
because that's not his only
Yeah.
business is the strip club. He's got other
No,
businesses.
that's just the front. You're
Mhm.
going to jail for a long time.
Hella long.
Everybody in there is going to jail. Do you believe that Bishop might be a DEA agent? Because some people are saying that.
Okay, so we talked about this last time, and I was like, "No, I really don't think so." And I really, really don't think so. I really
Hmm.
don't, because he did some crazy shit
They
for
mean
Alamo.
shit to that dude.
I don't
To
think
that dude.
any
Yeah.
DEA agent or any kinda FBI, CIA, I don't think
No,
any
I
of
don't
them would
think
ever
you
do
can go
it.
that far. You can't
Mm-mm.
go that far. Like, there's so much you can do to keep up with the act, but
At that
slicing a
point, they'll be
motherfucker up with
bringing
an
people
electric.
in. They'll
Yeah,
bring people
yeah.
in. That's a you can't I don't think he is at all.
Bishop also noticeably absent in this episode.
Yeah.
Now, so the guy, that plays Bishop, his Instagram page,
You got him on Instagram?
I absolutely do. I think he's brilliant. Um, he posted something. Let's see. Where's it at? He just posted, so it's like a black screen and just a little bit of his face, and it says, "Questions will be answered at Euphoria, at HBO Max." Um, in the
Okay.
episode 8 trailer, he's standing on a balcony of an old building, and they're like, "I think he's at a hotel," and I'm like, "If he's at a hotel, it's in Mexico." So he's gonna show up in Mexico because you can tell, like, what a building in Tijuana looks like versus a building, in the continental United States of America.
Mhm.
He's definitely going to be in Mexico based on what I saw there.
Mhm.
Questions will be answered. Kind of feels like he knows that people think that he's a Fed or something. I don't know. Or the question could be, well, he mentioned Rue's mom's name. Is he going to go kidnap Rue's mom? Or because remember, Rue and Ali had that conversation. He's like, we'll go get your mom in the morning.
Mhm.
Now, everybody's like, well, she's going to be dead by the morning. Did you notice that Ali had his like Desert Storm bad. Like, I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, this motherfucker knows some shit." It looked
Yeah.
like he did several tours in Desert Storm, so if Ali gets involved, it ain't gonna be as simple as they think it is. It's
Right.
just not. So, when he says questions will be answered, okay, well, are you going to get Rue's mom? That's a question. Are you a DEA agent or a Fed? That's a question. Um, where the fuck were you this episode? That's a fucking question.
Right?
I love that caption because you know that everybody's asking what the fuck is going on.
Where are
And
you?
so much this fucking episode was
Think
amazing.
I think Ali
This
and
might
Bishop are gonna go head to head
at the head.
for the
Yeah, fuck
mom.
yeah,
I
fuck
think
yeah.
Ali went to go take care of the mom. Bishop's already there. They're gonna beef it out.
This okay, so let's spin it back to Nate's untimely demise.
Okay.
So some people feel like so again, Joanna Robinson, shout out to Joe. Her and Rob Mahoney were like they butchered Maddie's character. And because even I said it when she's like, well, Rue thinks that she's like apparently Rue's messing with the DEA. Maddie knows Alamo is not the normal guy, and that is
Right.
not the person you tell that. Whether
Right.
Rue is joking or not, you cannot say DEA, FBI, CIA, any of the alphabet boys to a motherfucker that specializes in trafficking and drugs. You're going to die. Somebody is going to die. So when they're like, they fucked Maddie, they definitely fucked off Maddie's character. I was like, yeah, Maddie is smart enough. Out of all of them, who ran around in high school and where they're at now, the only one with any street smarts is Maddie.
Mhm.
And I'm standing on that. Maddie would have known better than to say that to Alamo, right or wrong.
Right. Absolutely right.
Okay. Okay. So we're on the same page. Also, neck brace doesn't need the neck brace anymore. Was it
I
like
guess not. I guess she's finally done
Kitty? Kitty, this is fucked up. So
getting
she's
her
like, I'm getting
BBL.
a BL. And then like
Mhm.
this is where I knew. So this was the tipper. So when Alamo says what he says later, it's like, yeah, this motherfucker is the devil. And she's like, I'm going to get a BBL. I'm going to Mexico to get a BBL. They're like, how much is it going to cost? I don't know. Alamo's paying for it. Well, how much interest? I don't know. You better fucking know. They can tell you. We've been in this club. We know this motherfucker. He's not
Mhm.
playing around. Alamo wants people to be indebted to him.
Yeah,
That was the
absolutely.
first clue. So spin it back. Maddie had to fuck him to get what we thought was the money, right? We know Alamo well enough to know that he was not gonna give Maddie that money.
Right. Absolutely.
How the fuck do you allow this girl to go make a deal with a bag full of fucking playing cards masquerading as $1,000,000? Now, he knew he was gonna shoot anyway.
Yeah.
Maddie opens the bag and it's like, cause like the dude opens the bag, is like, what the fuck is this? Then he shoots him, which
Mhm.
I got something on that in a second. This is
Okay.
gonna trip you out. This is
Okay.
gonna trip you out. And that's why I don't think Alamo's gonna survive. I'm gonna tell you why in a second. Shout out to Prestige Podcast. Shout out to Joanna Robinson and Rob Mahoney. When I tell you this is gonna blow your fucking mind. I
Okay.
think it is. I think it is. You brought this nice crocodile leather bag
Mhm.
and we thought you had $1,000,000 fucking dollars in there and there's playing cards in there. And then you tell this girl, she's like, well, we got Cassie back. Yeah, well, the debt is yours now. What debt?
Mhm.
There's no money in here. I owe you for the playing cards? Cool. This can't be, I don't know, 60, $70, $80 worth of fucking playing cards at best. Like how much is let's see.
I
Because
mean,
now I
but
want
he
to know
to
how much is
I mean, it could be upwards to anything. I mean, it just depends on, like, what's the design on it or whatever. But, I mean, he did tell her, he's just like, "I didn't do this for free." Like,
generally between $3 and $20. All right,
yeah.
I'll write like I mean I can
"I'll
cash
give you
app you that shit right now.
$26."
Look, my nigga, here you go. Here's 80, call it even. I didn't do
Yes.
this for free. I Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. What are you talking about? These things have no value. So this is the part that's gonna blow your mind.
Okay.
So when he shoots Naz and he's on the ground and in his last breath, he's saying something in Armenian to the other guy,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So, per Prestige podcast, again, shout out Joanna Robinson and Rob Mahoney. He says to the other guy, kill the whore's son. How would how would what did I tell
How
you?
would he
How
know?
would he know? How would he know? He's got dirt on Alamo. This shit ain't
Mhm.
over. This shit ain't
Yeah.
even over. Not even remotely close to being over. How would you know that my mother was a whore?
And Alamo was like, "I don't fuck with Armenians." I wonder why.
Yeah. And so what the guy said to him was, forgive me. And then the guy got in the thing and started
Mhm.
pulling the dirt off to get Nate up. Yeah. He said, kill the whore's son. How does he know your mother is a whore? So now Cassie is screaming, Nate is dead in the motherfucker, even though it has been since fucking senior year of high school. We have all the proof we need. The wedding reception, and now this. Maddie never got over Nate. Maddie never got over Nate. It doesn't there's some people that you will have that no matter how much time passes, uh, they're still that one person. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And you just will never get over them. And now we know because Maddie left the wedding early. Nate's mother was completely so now let's spin it back to Nate's fucking mom. Oh, and then we met Cassie. And Cassie was just so perfect. And now she's my daughter-in-law. Now,
Ugh,
Nate is not dead because of Cassie, but like you got a daughter-in-law with no son. I don't is she even your daughter-in-law anymore because you don't have a son? By
right.
law, there's a death certificate that will be filled out. So you what the
Is that null and void now? I don't know.
well, here's the thing. They weren't like they were still within enough time where they could have got the marriage annulled if they wanted to.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
is
they could've.
this episode 7. When we do our end of the year awards for this podcast, you guys stay tuned. There's gonna have to power or whatever the fuck else comes this year is going to have to be out of the fucking stratosphere to top what we saw Sunday night.
Yeah.
That might have been the best hour of television in God knows how long. And I went through the rest of Darth Maul's Shadow Lord on Sunday evening. I was like, holy shit. Like every time Disney fucks up Star Wars, Dave Filoni comes through like, all right, I got y'all. Don't worry about it. I got it. You chill. I'll take care of it. And I was like, nothing can get better than this. And then it's like 2 hours later, it's Euphoria time. What? I was just like, and that's why I texted you yesterday. I was like, whenever you're ready to do this, let's do this because this might have just been the greatest hour of television I have seen in some time. There was just so much that happened. Um, Nate's fucking dead. Now
Mhm.
Maddie owes this man $1 million, even though there was no money in the bag. It was a bag full of fucking playing cards. All of this happened, and we don't have any clear path for next week. It's just
None.
like, and they're still saying it's the season finale. How do you not end? How do you not end next week?
I don't even
You
know.
can't you can't possibly go higher than this. Because if Zendaya walks away,
Mhm.
which for all intents and purposes it feels like she will,
She will. Absolutely.
and shout out to Alexa Demi because Maddie, people have been saying it the whole time, like I fuck with Maddie, I fuck with Maddie. Maddie's that bitch, Maddie's that bitch, Maddie's that bitch.
Mhm.
I literally put in my notes, Maddie really is that bitch. She really and truly is. It is a shame that Alexa Demi is not every fucking where. Because I know everybody's like, oh, Sydney Sweeney's the breakout star. Alexa Demi is the motherfucking breakout star from this show. Nobody has done what Maddie has fucking done in this show. I'll give you Hunter Schafer because Hunter Schafer has carved a lane for the LGBTQ plus community for
Right.
fucking sure. By the way, where the fuck was Jules?
Yeah.
All we
I also
see
get the
is
same
Jules'
thing.
name on the fucking phone?
What is going on? What is
I
happening?
don't know.
We need
I
to
don't
know.
know. Because
But, you know,
and I you know,
this last episode is gonna be,
go
like, an
ahead.
hour long, isn't it? Or, like, an hour
It
and
is.
30
This
minutes?
so this episode was like an hour. This one's gonna be
It better
like
answer all our
80,
questions
90
then.
minutes. It has to. It has to. It has to. Because Jules got a lot of motherfucking nerve. Bitch, you slapped me under a canvas. And you're just like, "Yo, I'm checking in." You just checking in. I the police coulda had me. I coulda been like this, and your phone's ringing. "Who was that, Jules? Hey, son, let me take this call. I was just checking on you. You got a lot of motherfucking nerve, bitch. I'm going to jail. I get one phone call. When I get that one phone call, me and you are gonna have a fucking conversation. How dare you slap me under a fucking painting canvas? I oughta knock your fucking head off. Fuck is wrong with you?" Jules is out of her fucking mind. Jules is out of her fucking mind. I don't but also, they've gotta end it. If you kill Rue, that's it. That's it.
Too.
What connection does Jules have to the show without Rue?
None.
Look at how many
Absolutely
people.
none.
Okay, so if Rue goes,
Jules is
which
gone. Um,
Ali is gone.
Ollie, her mom,
Oh,
obviously isn't even a part of it.
glad you said that again. We're gonna have to like we've got to at some point. I don't know how we're gonna make this happen. Joanna Robinson, Rob Mahoney, if you're listening, The Ringer, Spotify, if you're listening, we would love to chat about this fucking show. Mika King, who plays Rue's mother, said that there was way more to the phone conversation.
Yes.
And she had been telling all her friends and family, like, "Y'all, I'm back on Euphoria. I'm back." She had like people over to watch the show. She was sitting there with her mother. And she found out when we found out that they cut that shit. And she said her mother started clowning her over the shit. Like, "Oh, bitch, you thought, look at how they did you." She, like, everybody's like, "How the fuck could you do Mika King like that?" And she's just like, There was more. There was more to that conversation. There was more that was filmed, but they put that on the cutting room fucking floor. On the cutting room fucking floor. So, yeah, no Rue, no Jules, because it doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
No Ali, no mom. Storm Reed went on to actually go to college, so you weren't getting Gia back any fucking way.
Right.
Rest in peace to Angus. Lexi won't pick up the phone, so there's not gonna be a mention of fucking Fesco.
Right.
It's just like you're killing off a like Lori's gone. I mean, I don't think Lori makes it out of the next one. Alamo or Lori, one of them have to die. One of them have to die. And if I was a betting man, which I am not, I'm betting dollars to donuts that it's Lori and the Nazis.
Yes, I agree. I was gonna say that
Okay, we're on the same
because
page.
all of a sudden now Cassie and Maddie are now linked to
In
Alamo.
debt.
They can't
Yes,
they can't
yes.
kill him off after that. Absolutely not.
Because, again, where does the show go?
Yeah.
You're already putting us all in a hell of a spot by saying, well, this is only the season finale, not the series finale. Where do you go from here? Because Rue's plan,
Mhm.
if she survives, is to go back and live with those Bible thumpers.
Right.
And I didn't know, but like when they presented like the address is what 613 Jerusalem Road or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so Rue is having a spiritual religious awakening. And
Yep.
generally, when that happens in a film or a television show where the character has done so much bad and so much fucked up stuff, that's your like last few days or minutes or whatever of clarity before it's your time to depart this earth in the physical form.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Where do we go from here? Where
How
the
do you
fuck
think
do
it's
we
gonna
go
even
from here?
happen? Like, I can't even think on how they would even do it.
Who gets if Rue gets killed, who gets the kill? Is it
You
the
think
Nazi?
you think it's Faye?
Is it
Because I
Bishop?
mean, her boyfriend said, like, "I'm gonna make you do it."
I don't know if Faye makes it out of the fucking basement. Because here's the thing, we've seen Rue in the trailer for the next episode. It looks like she was in her home back like she
Mhm.
was in high school. She
Yeah.
has fresh, like, bruises and, like, fresh open cuts, so we know it's not, like, where she did the shit on the dashboard.
Yeah.
If Rue makes it out of that basement, then Faye does one of the they both can't get out.
Right.
They both can't get out.
Yeah.
And again, feel like Faye's story has to come to an end at this point.
Yeah, I liked Faye for a little bit. Now, I don't like her at all.
Uh, I like
She did
Imma
Rude
keep it a buck with
dirty.
you. When she showed up at Fez and Ash's house, and she was, she was, like, helping Fez get dressed to go to Lexi's play and all this stuff, I really liked her. But when she was doing the sneaky shit by the garage talking to the ex-boyfriend,
Mhm.
I'm like, she needs to tell Fez and Ash what's coming down the pipe.
Right.
It's like, for the longest time, everybody's like, Big was behind Pac getting shot. No, he was not. Even Pac said it. No, he didn't shoot me. But he looked me right in my face and act like he didn't know the niggas was around the corner about to blow my head off. That's why I'm mad at him. You knew they were going to shoot me. You should have said something. And that goes back to the same thing. Faye knew it was coming and she
Yeah.
did not tell Fez. So I've been very iffy on Faye from that point alone. Now, you not only are you screaming for Wayne to wake up, not only are you like, "Where's the money?" Which you convinced yourself there was money, you let Wayne fucking put a swastika on you.
Right.
I don't hate the actress because I don't know her. I hate the character. That's all there is to it. I'm like, any stock I might have had like this much stock on Faye. It's like, "Oh, you got a swastika tat?
It's
We're selling
gone.
all of this." Yeah,
Yeah.
Faye stock for sale. Come and get it. You're out of here, buddy. You're out of here.
Done.
Um, I
I
cannot
don't
fucking
know.
believe that episode, right?
Right. It was a lot. There was so much. And there
I
always
just
is, but this one was, like, all over the place. I mean, they just
they went
one after the other just kept going.
what is Lexi's relationship once this is all over? Because remember when Maddie called looking for Cassie, Lexi started going off on her. And
Mhm.
Lexi's like, "You got her fucking doing OnlyFans." And she was like, and Rue believes, and she's like, "Well, Rue's just crazy." Like, Lexi is looking around like, how the fuck are these people my friends? How the fuck Lexi is going to be, she's gonna be? She's gonna be that person that leaves home and never comes back and sends, like, a Christmas card and shit like that. She's just
Yeah.
like anybody that survives this, she's not gonna talk to them. Lexi is
No.
done. Lexi is fed the fuck up with these people.
Yeah.
Fed the fu like, think about that fucking conversation outside the pool. Rue comes up and casually asks, uh, Maddie if she
Maddie.
can get her hooked up with the plug for drugs. Now, you guys all know I'm an addict because I grew up in your house. And you were there, Maddie, so, like, we all grew up together. Who was this bitch with the fucking leaf blower? That bitch could be a whole fed and root they're just sitting there talking about dope, and Cassie's like Lexi's like, "The fuck is wrong with y'all?" Like, not only do you sound fucking nuts, but at the same time, most people like me with them are like, "Hey, we don't know this bitch. Why are we having this conversation in front of this fucking random with the leaf blower?" I'm telling you, none of the shit they've done this season makes sense, and it all goes back to that $50,000 fucking floral arrangement. Once she said that, at that point, we should have been like, 50,000? Like, what the fuck is gonna happen this season? That wedding episode changed everything. The wedding was great, and then the show has got substantially fucking crazier ever
Yeah.
since. Ever since. And Nate lost his fucking toe after the wedding. No way did we ever think it was gonna be this crazy by the time we got to the end. This is
It's
insane.
That's true. That's true. I mean, it's
This is
been blowing
insane.
our minds since episode 1, honestly.
Yeah, 100%, 100 fucking percent. Um, I can't fucking wait till Sunday. I really cannot wait till fucking Sunday.
Same. Absolutely.
You got anything
Absolutely.
else?
That's all I've got. That's all I've got. Um, damn, I can't wait for
I can't
next Sunday.
Alamo
I
has to die.
just
Alamo has
I
to
don't think
die.
so. I don't think so. 'Cause Maddie and Cassie are now they're now linked
in
with
debt.
him.
But if Maddie has shown one thing, she know here's the thing.
Do you
This is
think
why
Maddie's gonna
Alamo
take
has
over?
the club. That's what I think.
Okay,
And she would treat those girls much better than Alamo does,
for
right or
sure.
wrong. Okay.
Absolutely.
This is why Alamo has to die. It's not so much what he's done to Lori because that's been very much tit for tat. And
Mhm.
him and Lori go back a ways, and because of those fucking IDs and what Lori said to Rue, I will give you to some people who will traffic you.
Mhm.
I feel like they have a relationship. They had a relationship until that girl got that bad batch with that fentanyl and she OD'd. And for
Yeah.
Alamo, that was too much. Him and Lori are two sides of opposite sides of the same fucking coin. They're both disgusting, deplorable fucking people. Alamo has to die for him trafficking all those fucking girls, for the way he fucking treated Big Eddie when Big Eddie tried to hold it down for him and he got fucking shot and now he's shitting out of a bag.
Yep.
For what he just pulled on fucking Maddie. This ain't for free. All
Mhm.
right, well, let's run to Denny's. I'll get you a grand slam real quick. You gave him a bag full of playing cards. What do you,
Yeah.
bro? $3 to $20. What do you think this is worth? Because you fired a pistol, nigga. You've shot people already in the show. What are we talking about? You shot them for free.
Right.
This body's on the house, brother. I don't know I don't know where you thought I signed something, but guess what?
It's 'cause he wants her. He wants her to be indebted
And
to
and and
him.
and guess what? And that's all fine and good. I will tell you this as a black man. The last thing I'm doing is pissing off anybody who could potentially call the police on me because I don't give a fuck what my degree says, how many comic books I have, this Captain America t-shirt. I'm a very unassuming person, but my skin is still dark and they will lock my black ass up. And Alamo better fucking think about the dumb shit that he fucking says. He's an idiot because if he lets Maddie and Cassie go, Cassie just lost her fucking husband.
Yeah.
You think a motherfucker's gonna play with Cassie's life again and she's not gonna call the police? Fuck out of here. Alamo's fucking crazy. I have the DEA and all the motherfuckers out there. Fucking sonars and fucking helicopters and all that shit. Yo, go get that nigga. I can tell you exactly where he is. This is the type of cologne he wears. You're out of here, bucko. You're out of here. No fucking way. Alamo's got to die. But Lori also has to die. Lori has to die.
Lori for
Alamo
sure.
has to die. Rules, the Nazis definitely like. Sorry, buddy,
Absolutely.
Captain America. You know how this goes. This is why the Nazi regime doesn't exist anymore. You're out of here, bud. You're out of here. Now, my only question is who gets taken out by the DEA and who does Bishop get the torture? That's the only thing I want to know. That's the
I
only
don't think
thing
Bishop's
I
gonna
want
get
to
to
know.
torture anyone.
He says questions will be answered. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know if he'll really I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. All
I
we can
don't
do is wait
know. It's
until
gonna be
Sunday.
very interesting.
It's
It's
gonna be
gonna be very
crazy.
Sunday. Hey, HBO. HBO, you've done it again from The Wire to The Sopranos to Entourage, to the first season of The Last of Us, to Succession and so many other shows. Sunday nights belong to HBO. I want to thank you guys for another amazing season of television. Nobody does it like fucking HBO. They changed the game because TV was all about Fox, CBS, NBC, and ABC. HBO came in on Sunday nights like, this is cool, but we're going to show you how to really do this shit. And then also from that, AMC was like, okay, we got to take it up a notch and we'll give you Mad Men and Breaking Bad. And then from that, we'll get Better Call Saul. Sunday night was just, oh, like, fuck, we got to go back to work or to school in the morning. Now we look forward to Sunday nights because we have TV shows like this. So
Yeah.
bravo to HBO. This is a fucking masterpiece. Um,
That's all we got.
Sunday, is that you? Sunday, is that you? Please come. Because I can't believe this episode we just got. And it's like, if this all happened in the penultimate episode, you've got to top it with the fucking finale. What do
Something.
you fucking do?
Mhm.
This is going to be crazy. I got nothing else. You got anything?
Let's wrap it up.
All right. Well, you guys know where to find us. Pause Menu Society. Of course, we will be back to recap the finale, and then we'll have like we don't even really have a week off. We've got our gaming season prediction show coming. And then we kick things off on June 2nd with the PlayStation State of Play. June 5th, we have Summer Game Fest. June 7th, we have the Xbox Showcase and the Gears of War E-Day Direct. And then at some point, Nintendo will announce the date for their Direct, and we will be covering that as well. Make sure you subscribe to Pause Menu Society on Instagram as well as TikTok, and then subscribe to our socials as well because we talk about a bunch of shit over there. I'm going to end this. As always, my name is Daniel Derek Ocean. That is Awesome Amy. And we are just two members of the crew we call Pause Menu Society. You guys have a good one. Peace out.
Bye.